I want to talk to you today about when prophets are called to be silent. Yes, there are times that we are required by God to be silent. And it's very important that we understand that silence is not accepting something, silence is not going along with something, but silence is connected to the next thing that we're doing. So today, I want you to tune in and listen when prophets are called to be silent. The first thing I want to talk to you about, the first story that I want to bring to your attention, to bring to your remembrance, so you can see if this fits you. When Elijah and Elijah were on the road, and Elijah was getting ready to be taken up by God in a whirlwind, the first thing that happened was the prophets of Bethel came to Elisha and said, "You know, your master is going to be taken from you." And what did he do? He didn't start to debate with them. He didn't start to cry. He didn't start to say, "Oh, woe is me." What he said was, "Be silent." He required them to not say another word because he had been hearing from God. But it's more than he had been hearing from God. You're going to find out why it was so important for him to be quiet. The next thing, as he was walking on a little bit further with his master, you see the prophets of Jericho. They come up and they say, "You know, your master is going to be taken from you." And what did he say again? He said, "Be silent." He didn't debate. He didn't cry. He didn't even say anything to Elijah. He didn't say, "Oh, Elijah, look, they keep coming to me. They keep telling me this bad news." He said, "Be quiet." And then, as Elisha and Elijah had crossed on over, all of a sudden, 50 men from the company of prophets. Now, if you cannot see that that is a divine setup, even from people that hear from God. Yes, there are times that people that even hear from God will try to call a divine setup to your delay. Now, 50 men. So I guess that they could not get all the other prophets to come in agreement. So they said, "Come on, let's get us all together and we're going to get him down." Listen why this was so important. Because he was walking with Elijah, everybody had known that Elijah ran from Jezebel. So I believe that what happened in this instance is that these company of prophets knew the power of Elijah. They knew the strength that he had. They knew that he had defeated the false prophets. They knew that. But they also knew the weakness was that sometimes depression would try to plague him. They knew the fact that he ran and hid in a cave. They knew it. So what they were trying to do is, yes, you can have somebody that is walking in a close anointing as you have. They may all be prophets because they were all prophets of God. But if they can unleash the weakness of your mentor on you, they can stop you from going to your destiny. So if Elijah had have listened to them, he would have missed his divine assignment. He would have missed what God was calling him to do. So what happened was he told everybody to go ahead, stop talking to me. And he stayed with him. Why? This is the first reason why prophets must be silent, because there was a mantle that was getting ready to be released on Elisha. And had Elisha been talking and entertaining even what was going to happen, even if they knew the truth, had Elijah been entertaining that, then he would have taken on that spirit of depression. He would have taken that same thing on to say, "Woe is me. I'm all by myself. Nobody's going to understand me. The prophets came and told me that I'm going to be by myself, that my master is going to be gone. So guess what? What can I do?" Oh my God. Now depression set in. Why did they try to do that? They tried to do that because the mantle was getting ready to be dropped on Elisha. And had Elisha listened to that, he would not have been able to watch his master go up. and he would not have been able to catch the mantle that was coming down to him. So sometimes, as prophets of God, we have to be quiet because God is giving us a new mantle. And if we listen to the wrong voice at that appointed time, we will miss out on our divine timing for the new mantle to come in our life. So I want to encourage you today to don't listen, because God is trying to drop mantles on us. God is trying to dismantle the old mantle and put a new one on us. But we have to be silent in the process. Don't entertain negative confessions, and don't you even entertain a negative confession that even comes from your mouth. Cast it down, cancel the assignment, and move into the things of God. The next thing that prophets have to be quiet about, the next reason why prophets must be silent, is just like when Elijah stopped the rain and he said there will be no more rain. In First Kings, he said there's going to be no more rain, and for a span of 3.5 years he stopped the rain from coming because of the power of God that was on him to speak what God said would be. Elijah did not do it out of his own might, but he did it out of the power of God. He did it because God said, if my people will stop serving false gods and turn back to me, he said, what's going to happen? He said, I will release things, but if not, I will cause the heavens to shut up and a drought will take place. So Elijah was not saying anything on his own behalf. He was speaking as a mouthpiece of God, where God said, this is going to happen, and it's going to happen because they have not listened to me. Now, the reason why Elijah had to be quiet in the process, because right after he called for the rain to stop and for everything to stop, then he goes on and he's connected in the drought. He's connected. Now God sends him on, and there's a drought, and God tells him, now you go on, and there's going to be a widow that's going to be able to feed you. And in the process, it's just like what happens to us. God gives us some revelation, and the revelation may be a hard assignment that God is saying to do, and the hard assignment will have you in it also. So you're saying, well, God, it's unfair that I'm going through this. Now, God made sure that he was going to be taken care of. God made sure that he would not go without, but God allowed him to believe and to get the clarity to know that if he shut up heaven by the instructions of God, God was going to take care of him. So, what I want to say to you now, prophets, why you must be quiet is when God has given you assignment and it seems like the assignment now is turning on you. It seems like the assignment now has caused you to lose out. It seems like the assignment now has caused you to walk by yourself. It seems like the assignment now is causing you to only make it if it's a miracle. It seems like the assignment that God has given you is bigger than what you thought, and it has more cost than what you thought. The reason why it has more cost, because it's more valuable. And anything of value costs something. You are valuable, but as a spokesperson of God, our silence is valuable. When we have done our assignment by God, we don't need to talk about it. Elijah did not go around and tell people, God told me to shut up heaven. And for 3 years, he told it to Ahab. And he said, this is why things are going to happen because of disobedience. And he told it to them. But he wasn't going around and saying it to everybody else. He knew his assignment, but he did not let his assignment have him. Oh, that's very important. He did not let the assignment have him. So, as prophets of God, when we have fulfilled our God given revelation by revealing the word of God, however God tells us to reveal it, when we have done our assignment, we need to be quiet and wait to watch God fulfill it. If God had to tell Elijah After 3.5 years, now open up your mouth and cause the rain to come back. But had he had been talking in the process, he would have aborted the assignment, and he may have even caused the drought to be longer because of his disobedience. So be comfortable even when it seems like your assignment is making you uncomfortable. If you are in the will of God and if you've heard it, keep your mouth quiet, silence your conversation, and let God do what He's going to do. Prophetic people need to understand one thing. Sometimes our conversation is too much because we get too many downloads, but every download doesn't need to be unloaded. You hear me? Every download does not need to be unloaded. Some downloads need to stay between you and God. So, prophets, you must be silent in the season that you're going into. Why? Number one, you are getting a new mantle, and that mantle cannot have outside influences. Number two, you don't want to interfere with the assignment that you've been called to do. If God called you to it, He's going to see you through it. And that means He's going to see you through it by you keeping your mouth closed and watch God work. Even if it seems like the assignment has you trapped, you are not trapped because God takes care of His own. But remember, the Word of God says that God does nothing unless He first reveals it to His servants, the prophets. So every prophet, prophetic voice out there, hear me and hear me clearly. There are times when God is saying, you must be silent. So be silent in the season that you're going in. Release the words, pray the words, dance the words, scribe the words, however God calls you to release His word. But when silence is necessary, make it a mandatory action in your life. Let your words have more clarity and thought and power, and that comes through silence after the release. So God bless you. And remember, when prophets are silent, God is still at work.